Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Whiskey Reviews by Leaf and Libations. My name's Roman, and I'm joined today with Justin, who is the Diesel product manager for a new project coming out called the Diesel Whiskey Row. Take a look at that. We'll get some photos up here for you guys soon. So let's talk a little bit about this project.
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, happy to be here. So we're giving everyone at Seafest a little sneak peek. This brand's actually not going to be available till later this summer.
All right.
But it's a cool collaboration. So we worked with AJ Fernandez on the blend. We partnered with a new upstart bourbon company out of Louisville, Kentucky called Rabbit Hole.
All right.
So we took AJ's tobacco and actually aged it in their bourbon barrels.
That's awesome.
Now, it took me about 8 months to convince AJ to do it. But
he is a little particular with the way he treats his tobacco, so.
He kept telling me how traditional he is.
Definitely.
So I'm a young guy. This is a young brand, so I'm trying to push the boundaries a little bit. But ultimately, the collaboration is great. The end product, I mean, you're smoking it.
Yeah, right.
It's the reception's been overwhelming so far.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the blend. So I'm assuming it's Nicaraguan Puro?
Well, close. Okay. So it's got a Nicaraguan 3-region blend for the filler, some Ometepe, Jalapa, Condega. We've got a Mexican San Andres binder, and an Ecuadorian Habana wrapper. So
awesome.
the challenge was aging this tobacco in bourbon barrels. You had to have a certain blend that could hold up to that bourbon aging process. So we tried a Nicaraguan Puro in the beginning, but it didn't quite fit the bill that we wanted. But this blend just, I mean, it knocked it out of the park for us.
That's awesome. And this comes in how many sizes?
So 4 sizes, Robusto, Toro, Churchill, and Gigante.
All right. And then let's talk a little bit about Rabbit Hole. So like you said, Rabbit Hole's a newer up-and-coming bourbon company here. As far as I remember, they're all 4 years so far?
4 years, yeah, 4-year-old juice. So the cool thing is, when this project kind of came about, I've always wanted to do something with a bourbon pairing. A lot of our consumers, bourbon is their drink of choice with smoking cigars, and I tell everybody they go together like milk and cookies, you know, bourbon and cigars. So we found this really cool young company, Rabbit Hole, bunch of cool young cats running it. And again, they don't claim to have 12 and 15-year-old juice, just like we don't claim to have, you know, Cuban heritage, and we haven't been making cigars for 20, 30 years. Right. So it was just it was a perfect match for us.
That's awesome. So yeah, we actually reviewed the Rabbit Hole bourbon. Check it out on our website. But let's talk a little bit more about it. Why did you pick their Kentucky Straight bourbon versus some of their other choices?
So it's interesting that you say that. We had a lot of options, but what I wanted something, again, that was a little young, little kind of in your face, because Diesel, the way we've positioned it and the way the brand is, it's just very bold, in your face, kind of up front. We don't spend a lot of money on marketing and packaging. Like, our whole model is what's inside the box that counts. Right. And Rabbit Hole's the same way. They're very grassroots, very guerrilla marketing, and again, they don't claim to have, you know, master blenders. They're not 4th generation bourbon makers. It's like, hey, a bunch of guys got together, started this cool new company, and it's kind of, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. But it's in your face, and it matched perfectly with Diesel.
So tell me a little bit more about the aging process. How did you age the tobacco in their barrels?
So yeah, so that's the one part of the process that's a little proprietary for us. The blend information's out there. Don't mind sharing that. But it was such a long process of finding the right amount of time to age the tobacco in the bourbon barrels. What we found is aging the binder alone had the maximum effect that we wanted for the cigar. So again, with doing this, we didn't want the bourbon to kind of compromise the tobacco. We wanted it to be a pure, original smoking experience. Yeah. But what we found is that it creates this cool, like, aromatic experience, and there's a hint of sweetness to it. But again, if you smoke it, you won't be overwhelmed with the bourbon taste. So it's a really good balance.
So one thing that's interesting on the nose, so right before you even light the cigar, you smell it. I mean, you get a really good whiskey blast off of it. It's not overpowering or anything like that, but like you said, that sweet bourbon smell off the foot of the cigar. But when I'm burning this so far, there's not really much of that whiskey characteristic that's overwhelming. It just kind of adds a little bit of sweetness in the undertone that I've gotten so far. I mean, I'm really only, you know, half an inch into my cigars, but so far it's burning great, and things seem like they're kind of blending together nicely.
Well, again, it checked all the boxes for us from what we wanted. With Diesel, the majority of our cigars are very bold, very full-bodied. dense, heavy on the palate. So I wanted something that was a little more refined, took the edge off a little. Again, it's very full-bodied, but the bourbon aging process just kind of balanced out all of the tobacco together. And again, it touches all the senses. It's savory, it's sweet, the aroma, it's really nice on the retrohale.
Yeah.
So when you smoke it, you get that full experience of AJ Fernandez tobacco, diesel, bold by design flavor, and then the rabbit hole kind of comes in and adds a nice balance to it.
That's awesome. So, and this is obviously the first step of the Whiskey Row.
It is.
Any hints on what's coming a little further down the line, or do you plan on doing more of them in the Whiskey Row?
So far, this partnership has been fantastic. And again, this is a pre-release for the cigar. I released a few cigars to our reps across the country about a month and a half ago, and all the feedback's been positive. So we have high hopes for this cigar, and if it's as successful as we anticipate, there'll definitely be some extensions. Rabbit Hole has a cool portfolio. They do straight Kentucky bourbon.
Yep.
They do a rye. They have a bourbon aged in cherry cask, and they also do a gin aged in bourbon barrels.
Right.
So the potential is limitless for us.
That's awesome. So yeah, so these are the pre-release cigars. So far only found at Cigar Fest 2018 in the Poconos. Check them out, Cigars International.
Yep.
And what we got here. So if you came to Cigar Fest, definitely give the cigar a try. If you're having any questions about it, see Justin. He'll talk to you about it here. And if you're looking for this cigar, you're going to have to wait, unfortunately, unless you came to C-Fest.
Hey, best things you have to wait for.
That's true. So when can these people expect to find these?
So we are going to ship nationwide the middle of June.
All right.
So it's not too far away.
Not too far. And what's the price point?
It'll range between $7 and $8.50.
Oh, that's a great price point for a good cigar. So
absolutely, and again, our customers are used to getting the biggest bang for their buck, and so I want people, when they leave the cash register or when they empty their card online, that they feel they're getting the best end of the deal.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us, guys. It's been a whiskey review, or actually a cigar review with a pairing with Rabbit Hole and Diesel. Check out the Whiskey Row, and we'll see you guys next time.